Imagine standing in front of your mirror every morning. You see your reflection, but the real question is, do you see your soul shining through your eyes? Because true beauty isn't just painted on the face, it is written in the way we live, the way we carry ourselves, and the way we connect with God. My friends, beauty is not about perfection, it is about depth. It is about living with maturity, dignity, and grace that flows from within. And when a woman matures with wisdom and divine connection, her beauty doesn't fade, it only grows brighter with time. There is a kind of beauty that no mirror can show and no camera can capture. It is the beauty that radiates from a heart at peace, from a mind aligned with God. A mature woman who cultivates the habit of inner peace through prayer carries with her a glow that no cosmetics can provide. It is not something external, it is something divine, something eternal, something that inspires everyone around her. Think about the mornings we usually live. The alarm clock rings, and many people jump straight into their phones, scrolling through notifications, emails, messages. Before even taking a breath of gratitude, the mind is already restless, already scattered. The day begins with chaos, and the heart feels heavy before the sun has even risen. But imagine another kind of morning. A woman wakes up, gently sits on her bed, closes her eyes, and takes a deep breath. She folds her hands or simply brings her palms together and whispers a prayer to God. She thanks Him for the gift of a new day, for the air in her lungs, for the chance to love and serve again. She doesn't start with worry, she starts with worship. That small shift creates an ocean of difference in her life. Inner peace through prayer is not just a ritual, it is a relationship. It is like watering the roots of a tree before expecting fruits and flowers. A mature woman knows that if the roots are not nourished, the entire tree of life will wither. Her prayer in the morning is that water to her soul. And once her soul is nourished, she can face the storms of the day without losing her calm. Take an example from daily life. Imagine two women working in the same office. Both have the same responsibilities, the same workload, the same deadlines. The first one rushes into her day, already stressed, already thinking of what could go wrong. By afternoon, her patience is gone, her tone becomes sharp, and her face looks drained. The second one, however, began her day with prayer. She still has the same deadlines, the same workload, but her mind is anchored. Even when a problem arises, she doesn't get shaken so easily. She takes a breath, remembers her morning prayer, and faces it with faith. People around her feel more comfortable because her peace is contagious. That is the power of prayer. It doesn't change the world outside immediately, but it changes the world inside, which then influences everything around. When we talk about beauty, we often limit it to the face, to the body, to the clothes. But the beauty of a peaceful soul is something that lasts far longer. Wrinkles may come with age, hair may turn gray, but the calmness in the eyes, the softness in the voice, and the serenity in the smile never fade. A mature woman who prays regularly carries that timeless glow. People may not even know what her skincare routine is, but they will say, "There is something about her presence that makes me feel safe." That something is inner peace. Now, inner peace does not mean the absence of problems. It does not mean everything in life is perfect. In fact, sometimes the most peaceful people are those who are going through the toughest challenges. What makes them peaceful is their surrender to God. They realize they cannot control everything, but they can control how they respond. Through prayer, they hand over their worries to a higher power. They stop carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders and let God guide their steps. Think of a river. When the water is calm, you can see your reflection clearly. But when it is disturbed, it becomes cloudy, distorted. In the same way, when the mind is restless, it distorts reality. We overthink, we overreact, we misunderstand. But when prayer calms the waters of the mind, we see life clearly. We respond instead of reacting. We listen instead of arguing. We understand instead of judging. This makes a woman not only more beautiful, but also more respected, more trusted, and more loved. Even in relationships, this habit plays a huge role. A woman who has cultivated peace through prayer will not allow small arguments to become big battles. She knows when to pause, when to remain silent, when to forgive. She knows that her ego does not have to win every time because she is already fulfilled by her connection with God. This maturity makes her stand out because she doesn't seek validation from the outside. She draws strength from within. And here is a secret. Inner peace is also the greatest source of confidence. A woman may wear the finest clothes, the most expensive jewelry, but if her heart is restless, it shows in her eyes. On the other hand, a woman who has prayed, who has aligned her soul with God, carries an unshakable confidence. She doesn't need to prove herself. She doesn't need to shout for attention. Her calm presence speaks louder than words. So, the first habit that makes a mature woman more beautiful is this: she chooses prayer over panic, faith over fear, surrender over stress. And because of that, she walks into the world like a calm river, like a steady flame, like a quiet temple where everyone feels at peace. That is beauty in its purest form. Gratitude is one of the most powerful qualities that can transform not only the way we see life, but also the way life responds to us. A mature woman who practices gratitude doesn't just say, "Thank you," occasionally. She lives in thankfulness, she breathes in gratitude, and she radiates contentment wherever she goes. This quality makes her more beautiful than any jewel she can wear, because people are drawn to her spirit, her aura, her energy. Gratitude is the invisible fragrance of her soul. Let us think for a moment about how most people live. Every day we complain. We complain about the traffic, about the weather, about work, about people. Our minds are trained to look at what is missing rather than appreciating what is already present. A woman who doesn't practice gratitude feels restless, dissatisfied, and constantly unfulfilled. No matter what she achieves, she always feels it's not enough. That dissatisfaction shows in her face, in her voice, and in her relationships. But a mature woman who has cultivated the habit of gratitude is different. She wakes up in the morning, and instead of grabbing her phone or rushing into stress, she takes a pause. She whispers a prayer of thanks. "Thank you, God, for another day of life. Thank you for my home, my family, my body, my breath." She doesn't need a perfect life to feel thankful. She feels thankful for life itself. This single habit changes her entire energy. Her smile becomes softer, her words kinder, her presence warmer. Think of this example. Two women sit at the same dinner table. Both are served the same food. The first one looks at the meal and says, "Is this all? It could have been better. Why is there not more variety?" The second one looks at the same plate and says, "Thank you, God, for this food that nourishes my body. Thank you to the hands that prepared it." Now tell me, which woman will enjoy her meal more? Which one will feel lighter at heart? And which one will radiate beauty from within? Gratitude transforms the simplest things into sources of joy. Life is full of imperfections. No one's journey is smooth and flawless. But gratitude teaches us to focus on blessings rather than burdens. A mature woman knows That instead of complaining about the thorns on roses, she can appreciate that thorns come with roses. Instead of saying, "Why is life so difficult?" she says, "Thank you, God, for giving me the strength to handle difficulties." This mindset makes her graceful even in the face of challenges. People admire her not because she has a problem-free life, but because she carries her problems with dignity and a thankful heart. In relationships too, gratitude is a secret key. When a woman appreciates the little gestures of her family, her friends, her colleagues, she strengthens bonds. She thanks her children for their effort, even if their work isn't perfect. She thanks her husband for support, even in small ways. She thanks her parents for sacrifices, her friends for companionship. That habit of acknowledgement makes others feel valued and loved. And here's the beauty: when people feel appreciated, they naturally give more love in return. Gratitude creates a circle of joy. Let us imagine a workplace scenario. Two women are given the same task. One completes it and says, "Nobody even noticed my hard work. I deserve more recognition. Why should I even try?" The other woman completes the same task and quietly thanks God for giving her the ability and opportunity to work. She also thanks her team for helping, even in small ways. Do you know what happens? The grateful woman becomes respected and admired. People enjoy working with her. She gains trust and affection, while the other one isolates herself with negativity. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Gratitude is also deeply connected to health. Science itself says that people who practice gratitude have lower stress, better sleep, and healthier minds. But beyond science, there is spirituality. A woman who is grateful keeps her heart light. She doesn't carry unnecessary comparisons, jealousy, or complaints. Her eyes shine with positivity, her voice carries calmness, her body language speaks confidence. That natural radiance cannot be bought. It comes only from gratitude. Now let us not think gratitude means ignoring pain. Life will hurt, challenges will come, and sometimes tears will fall. But even in those moments, gratitude can guide us. A mature woman, even in suffering, will say, "Thank you, God, for teaching me patience through this." She may cry, but her tears are not of helplessness. They are of trust. She knows every hardship is also a lesson, every setback is also a redirection, and every loss is also an invitation to grow. Gratitude doesn't remove pain, but it gives us the strength to walk through it gracefully. And the most beautiful part, gratitude is contagious. When people see a woman who lives in thankfulness, they begin to feel grateful too. Her children learn to say, "Thank you," by watching her. Her friends feel lighter in her presence. Even strangers notice her positive energy. Gratitude is like sunlight. It doesn't just warm the person who carries it, it brightens the entire environment. So, a mature woman who lives with gratitude becomes truly beautiful. Not because she has everything, but because she appreciates everything she has. She understands that life is not perfect, but it is still a blessing. And when she looks at life with eyes of thankfulness, her face shines with peace, her heart glows with love, and her presence inspires everyone around her. That is the power of gratitude. It transforms ordinary women into extraordinary souls, and it makes beauty timeless, eternal, and unforgettable. Words are like seeds. Once spoken, they cannot be taken back, and they grow either as flowers that bring joy or as thorns that cause pain. A mature woman understands this truth deeply, which is why she develops the habit of speaking with kindness. She knows that beauty is not only about how she looks, but about how she makes others feel. Her words become her ornaments, her speech becomes her fragrance, and her voice becomes a soothing melody that touches hearts. Think of how powerful words are. A single harsh comment can break someone's confidence for years, while a single kind word can lift a heart that was about to give up. This is why a mature woman guards her tongue. She doesn't allow anger or negativity to dictate her speech. Instead, she pauses, reflects, and chooses words that heal rather than hurt. This self-control gives her dignity, and people admire her because she speaks with grace, even when situations are tense. Let us take a simple example from family life. Imagine a child comes home from school with low grades. One mother scolds and shouts, "Why are you always failing? Can't you do anything right?" These words crush the child's spirit. The child feels unloved and grows up carrying wounds that may last for years. Another mother, however, looks at the same report card and says gently, "It's okay, my child. We can work on this together. I believe in you. You can do better next time." The child's confidence is protected, and instead of fear, they feel motivated. The difference is not in the marks, it is in the words. A mature woman realizes that kindness in speech is not weakness, it is strength. It takes courage to remain calm when others are angry. It takes wisdom to speak softly when the world expects you to shout. And it takes true inner maturity to use words, not as weapons, but as medicine. Even in the workplace, this habit shines brightly. Imagine a stressful office where deadlines are tight and mistakes happen. One colleague snaps at others, blames them, and spreads negativity. Another colleague, though under the same pressure, chooses kindness. She says, "Don't worry, let's figure this out together." She encourages instead of criticizing, guides instead of humiliating. Tell me, who will be remembered with respect? Who will people want to work with? The one who speaks with kindness. That is real beauty. The kind that doesn't fade when you remove makeup at night, but remains in the hearts of people because of how you treated them. Kindness in words also strengthens relationships. Many marriages break not because of big problems, but because of small harsh words spoken daily. A mature woman understands this, so she speaks with love to her partner. Even when disagreements arise, she avoids sarcasm and insults. She chooses to express her feelings respectfully. Her gentle tone turns arguments into conversations and misunderstandings into deeper understanding. People often think beauty is about appearance, but in reality, the beauty of words holds relationships together far more powerfully. Let us reflect on another example. Imagine two shopkeepers. One responds rudely to a customer, "If you don't like it, don't buy it." The other speaks with kindness, "I understand your concern. Maybe I can show you another option." Which shop will people return to? Which shopkeeper will be remembered fondly? The answer is clear. Words have the power to create bonds or to break them. A mature woman also practices kindness in silence. She knows when not to speak. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words, but when she does speak, she ensures her words add value, bring clarity, or give comfort. People trust her speech because they know she doesn't waste words, and when she speaks, it comes from the heart. There is also a spiritual beauty in speaking kindly. A woman who speaks with kindness becomes a reflection of God's love and compassion. Her words uplift souls, reminding people of their worth, their dignity, and their potential. Even when correcting someone, she does it gently, without humiliating them. Her tone becomes like a prayer, soft, soothing, filled with respect. People may forget what she wore or how she looked, but they will never forget how her words made them feel. Let's think of the ripple effect. A woman speaks kindly to her children. Those children grow up learning the language of kindness, and speak kindly to their friends. Those friends carry it to their families, and the cycle continues. One woman's choice of words can influence hundreds of lives. That is the silent power of kindness. It multiplies without effort. And here lies the truth. Anyone can be beautiful on the outside for a short time, but it is the kindness in words that makes beauty everlasting. Wrinkles may come, hair may turn grey, but the beauty of kind speech will never fade. People will say, "She had the most beautiful soul," because her words were like flowers that bloomed in every heart she touched. So, the habit of speaking with kindness is not just about being polite. It is about living with awareness. It is about understanding that every word is energy, every word has weight, every word is a seed. A mature woman chooses her words carefully, waters them with love, and lets them grow into gardens of joy in the hearts of others. That is why she is admired, respected, and remembered, not just for her outer beauty, but for the eternal beauty of her speech. Discipline and self-respect are like two sides of the same coin. They are the invisible crown that a mature woman wears. People may admire her beauty at first sight, but what truly leaves a lasting impression is her discipline in living and her deep respect for herself. Together, these qualities form a glow that no makeup can provide and no jewelry can replace. Discipline is not about being strict or rigid. It is about being aligned with values. A mature woman understands that the way she lives her daily life is a reflection of how much she values herself. She eats with awareness, not because of vanity, but because she respects her body as a temple given by God. She maintains routines not because life forces her to, but because she honors her time and commitments. She keeps her word, not only to others, but also to herself. This consistency builds trust and respect, first within her own heart, and then in the eyes of everyone around her. Let us picture two women starting their day. The first one wakes up late, rushes through her morning, skips breakfast, and leaves the house stressed and unprepared. She may look beautiful, but her energy feels chaotic, and her day continues in disorder. The second woman, however, practices discipline. She rises early, spends a few moments in prayer, prepares herself calmly, eats mindfully, and steps out with clarity. The difference is visible not only in how she feels, but also in how others perceive her. Her calm presence speaks volumes about her self-respect. People trust someone who respects themselves enough to live with order. Self-respect is another layer of beauty that discipline brings. A mature woman doesn't allow the world to define her worth. She doesn't beg for validation or lower her standards just to be accepted. She knows her dignity is priceless. She does not tolerate disrespectful behavior because she understands that if she doesn't respect herself, others won't either. She carries herself in such a way that people automatically feel the need to treat her with honor. Take an example from relationships. Imagine a woman who keeps sacrificing her peace, her dreams, and even her dignity just to please others. People around her may take her for granted, and instead of admiration, she receives pity. But a mature woman with discipline and self-respect sets healthy boundaries. She loves others, but she does not lose herself in the process. If someone speaks harshly, she responds with calm firmness. If someone tries to misuse her kindness, she steps back with grace. Her respect for herself makes others respect her even more. Even in professional life, this habit stands out. A woman who comes on time, keeps her promises, and handles her responsibilities with discipline becomes a role model. She doesn't need to announce her worth. It shows in her actions. Colleagues trust her, superiors admire her, and juniors learn from her. Compare this with someone who is careless, always late, and inconsistent. No matter how talented she is, lack of discipline overshadows her abilities. Discipline is the silent language of respect. It shows without words. Discipline is also about self-control. A mature woman doesn't indulge in every desire or impulse. She knows when to say yes, and more importantly, when to say no. She doesn't let anger dictate her words, nor temptation dictate her actions. She doesn't overwork herself to exhaustion, nor does she waste her days in laziness. Instead, she walks the middle path with balance. This self-mastery is what makes her truly beautiful. Because real beauty is not in being controlled by life, but in being in control of how you live it. Think of the example of food. One woman eats mindlessly, junk food, overeating, no care for her health. Over time, it affects her energy, her confidence, her mood. Another woman practices discipline. She eats with balance, honors her body, and chooses what nourishes her. Her health glows on her face, her energy is vibrant, and her presence feels alive. Discipline in small habits creates big results. Self-respect also protects her from unnecessary comparisons. She doesn't waste time trying to look like someone else, live like someone else, or compete constantly. She understands that every person has a unique journey, and she respects her own. Instead of jealousy, she feels inspiration. Instead of insecurity, she feels contentment. That inner acceptance reflects in her confidence. She doesn't walk into a room seeking attention. Her self-respect commands attention naturally. Even in moments of failure, discipline and self-respect shine. A mature woman doesn't give up easily. If she falls, she gets up with dignity. She doesn't blame others or curse her fate. She takes responsibility, learns, and moves forward. People admire her strength because it is not noisy, it is steady, quiet, and graceful. Let us imagine a woman who is disciplined with her finances. She doesn't spend recklessly to impress others, nor does she live in unnecessary fear. She balances her income, plans wisely, and respects the value of money. This discipline not only secures her future, but also gives her confidence. Compare this with someone always in debt due to impulsive spending. Stress, anxiety, and dependency follow her. Again, beauty is not in possessions, but in the maturity of how we handle them. Ultimately, the habit of discipline and self-respect makes a woman beautiful in a way that cannot fade with age. It shows in her posture, in her decisions, in her silence, in her presence. She is admired not because she is flawless, but because she is focused. She is respected not because she is perfect, but because she values herself enough to live with principles. This beauty doesn't need applause, it doesn't need validation, it is self-sustaining. A mature woman with discipline and self-respect is like a well-rooted tree. She may face storms, but she doesn't fall. She may bend at times, but she never breaks. And the shade of her character gives comfort to everyone who comes near her. That is why discipline and self-respect make her even more beautiful. They give her a strength that is silent, a dignity that is visible, and a glow that is timeless.